fight fans. Welcome back to Heavy Jabs, the home of punches, predictions, and pure pugilistic madness. If you love the sweet science, heavy hands, and the occasional uppercut of comedy, you're in the right corner. Before we dive into today's main event discussion, Joseph Parker versus Fabio Wardley, make sure you throw a jab at that like button and slip a subscribe right hook so you never miss any of our upcoming breakdowns. Now let's get ready to talk about the fight that's got boxing fans arguing harder than promoters over pay-per-view splits. Because this one right here, Parker versus Wardley, might be the real heavyweight war we didn't know we needed. Joseph Parker, calm, polite, composed, the New Zealander with a smile that says, "I'm a nice guy," but hands that say, "Don't test me." He's been around the world of heavyweight boxing longer than some prospects have been out of high school. Former world champion, fought the giants, learned from losses, and lately been putting on performances that scream comeback. On the other side of the ring, Fabio Wardley, young, hungry, undefeated, with knockout power that could switch off the lights of a small city. He walks in with that British swagger that says, "I've arrived and I'm taking everything that's not nailed down." It's experience versus ambition, composure versus chaos. And somewhere between those jabs and uppercuts, we'll find out who really belongs among the heavyweight elite. Parker comes into this fight as the man who's been to the mountaintop. He knows what it feels like to wear that championship belt, to hear your name announced as the world champion. But more importantly, he knows what it's like to lose it, to feel the sting of defeat, to be written off, to climb back up through a division that eats its veterans alive. He's not flashy, he's not loud, and he doesn't need to talk trash to sell a fight. He lets his record do the talking, and right now, that record is whispering a simple message: don't count me out. After defeating Deontay Wilder in a shock performance that reminded everyone he still has the goods, Parker followed up by demolishing Zhilei Zhang, and he's now walking into London's O2 Arena with that quiet confidence of a man who's done this before. He's the technician, the thinker, the chess player in gloves. Wardley, though, is the chaos merchant. He's like a walking adrenaline shot, a fighter who looks at the word risk and laughs. His undefeated record isn't padded with nobodies. It's been built on violence and belief. He has the kind of knockout power that doesn't just end fights, it ends arguments. One punch, that's all it takes, and he knows it. Coming off his explosive knockout of Justis Huni, Wardley isn't showing up to play chess, he's showing up to play demolition derby. And that's where this matchup becomes fascinating. The calm craftsman versus the raging artist. Parker will want to make this a clean performance, a controlled exhibition of technique and timing. Wardley wants to turn it into a brawl in a phone booth, where footwork and game plans go to die. Now let's talk psychology, because fights aren't just won with fists. They're won with confidence, preparation, and the ability to keep your head when fists are flying like angry pigeons. Parker has been on the big stage. He's felt the lights, the crowd, the weight of expectation. When he fought Anthony Joshua years ago, he didn't win, but he learned what it means to be in there with someone who can change your night in one shot. Those experiences harden you. They give you that internal GPS that tells you how to find your way back even when you're in deep waters. Wardley, while confident, hasn't yet swum in those same shark-infested depths. He's had wars, yes, but not against someone as complete as Parker. So when the fight drags into the later rounds and your lungs feel like they're on fire, that's when experience stops being a word and becomes a survival tool. Of course, experience can't save you if you're lying flat on the canvas. Wardley's power is that X factor that makes analysts hesitate before predicting a Parker victory. We've seen it before, the young lion catching the old guard sleeping and changing the balance of the division overnight. Remember when Andy Ruiz shocked the world against Joshua? That kind of energy is floating around Wardley right now. Fans love him because he's raw, unpredictable, and brings back that old-school brawler vibe. You never quite know what's going to happen when he steps into the ring, but you know it won't be boring. If Parker plays his cards right, he'll want to take this fight into deep water. He'll want to drag Wardley into rounds he hasn't seen much of. force him to think, to breathe, to realize that the power doesn't hit the same when your legs are gone. Parker's stamina and composure could turn this into a slow suffocation, death by 1,000 jabs. But if Wardley manages to land clean early, all that strategy might fly straight out the window. Because once you're hurt against someone with Wardley's finishing instinct, you're in survival mode, and that's where mistakes happen. Let's also talk about something we don't usually discuss enough: legacy. For Parker, this fight isn't just another payday, it's redemption. After his earlier losses, many in the boxing world quietly filed him under solid but done. Every win since has been a message that he's not done yet, that there's more story to tell. For Wardley, it's the moment to announce himself to the world, to go from domestic hero to global threat. Beating Parker isn't just beating a name. It's kicking down the door to the heavyweight elite, and in this sport, opportunities like that don't come often. In the press conferences leading up to this fight, Parker has been his usual calm, respectful self, while Wardley's been a touch more fiery. You can feel the energy difference. Parker speaks like a man who's been there, done that, and bought the t-shirt. Wardley talks like someone trying to convince everyone, including himself, that he belongs on that level. The real question is, can that belief carry him through when Parker starts landing and reality begins to check that confidence? Because every young fighter hits that moment, that point where you realize experience isn't just a word. It's the difference between knowing when to punch and knowing when not to. There's also the question of adaptability. Parker has shown he can switch gears mid-fight. He's capable of reading opponents, adjusting pace, and finding cracks in their game plans. Wardley, so far, has been the hammer. Every problem he's faced has been a nail. But what happens when he hits something that doesn't break? That's the fascinating unknown. We've never truly seen Wardley have to box smart for 12 full rounds under pressure. If he can prove that he's more than a knockout artist, if he can show ring IQ and patience, he'll become a serious problem for everyone in the division. Now, in the spirit of satire, let's imagine this fight as a movie. Parker's the seasoned veteran cop who's seen it all, wearing a leather jacket and giving speeches about discipline. Wardley's the rookie partner who kicks down doors before the warrant's signed. The bell rings and the whole theater's waiting to see if the rookie learns something or if the old man gets retired. Either way, we get fireworks and someone's career takes a serious turn. Boxing is funny like that. It doesn't care who you are. It only cares what you can do tonight. Fans online are split. Half of them are yelling that Parker's experience will nullify the youth, while the other half are screaming that Wardley's power is going to end this before the commentators can finish their intros. The odds makers lean slightly toward Parker, but the smart money knows one thing. Heavyweights don't follow logic. One punch can erase 12 rounds of skill. That's the beauty and madness of this division. If you've been following Parker's recent fights, you'll notice he's rediscovered his timing and aggression. There's a bit of the old Parker, the one who used to let his hands go with speed and confidence. That version of Parker is dangerous because when he mixes volume with accuracy, he overwhelms opponents. Wardley's defense isn't impenetrable. He gets hit. The question is, can Parker capitalize without getting drawn into a slugfest? Because that's exactly what Wardley wants. The moment Parker starts trading recklessly is the moment Wardley's grin appears, the grin of a man who knows he's in his zone. Let's paint the scene for fight night. The crowd's roaring, the lights are blinding, the commentators are shouting cliches like styles make fights, and someone's zero has got to go. Wardley's bouncing, Parker's stoic, the bell rings, and just like that, all the talk evaporates. First round, Wardley comes forward like a man possessed, swinging those heavy hooks. Parker's on the back foot, jabbing, moving, calculating. By round 3, the crowd's already chanting, the tension's rising, and everyone's wondering, will the young gun land something nuclear, or will the veterans slowly dismantle him? Around the middle rounds, you start to see who's got the legs. Parker's breathing steady, controlling range, landing clean counters. Wardley's still dangerous, but maybe a step slower, his hands starting to drop. And that's when Parker begins to assert dominance, not through wild combinations, but through control. He doesn't need to knock you out with one shot. He'll just keep touching you until you break. It's not glamorous, but it's effective. Wardley's best hope is to find a moment of chaos, a brawl, a wild exchange where his power can override Parker's composure. Because if he lets Parker dictate the rhythm, he's cooked. Now, if we're being brutally honest, the most likely outcome is Parker winning by late stoppage or a clear decision. But because this is boxing, we can't rule out the twist ending. Maybe Wardley shocks the world. Maybe Parker underestimates the hunger of a man who's never tasted defeat. Maybe the fight goes down as one of those "I was there when it happened" moments. Either way, fans win. Because these are two fighters who don't run, don't quit, and don't bore us with 12 rounds of hugging. What makes this matchup even juicier is what comes next. The winner could very well be knocking on the door of an Oleksandr Usyk showdown. Imagine that. Parker, the reborn veteran, trying to dethrone the tactical genius of Usyk, or Wardley, the new wrecking ball, trying to prove that power still rules the heavyweight kingdom. Both storylines are box office gold, and both start here on this night. At the end of the day, boxing fans love two things: chaos and clarity. This fight promises a bit of both. We'll either get the clarity of Parker re-establishing himself as a world-class operator, or the chaos of Wardley blowing up the script and launching himself into superstardom. And honestly, I'm here for either outcome, because win or lose, both these men are giving us something the sport desperately needs: excitement without the manufactured drama. So who do I think will win? If you're forcing me to bet my lunch money, I'm leaning Parker. He's too polished, too seasoned, and too smart to fall into the traps that have caught his past opponents. But if Wardley lands that one clean bomb, none of Parker's experience will matter. It'll be lights out, see you later, cue the highlight reel. It's that unpredictability that keeps us coming back, and maybe that's the real moral of this matchup. Boxing isn't about who should win, it's about who does. It's about the one moment, the one punch, the one heartbeat that changes everything. Parker versus Wardley isn't just a fight. It's a snapshot of what makes this sport irresistible. Two men, one ring, and an audience ready to lose its collective mind. So fight fans, as we count down the days, remember that in heavyweight boxing, logic takes a back seat and chaos drives the car. Whether you're Team Parker or Team Wardley, buckle up, because this one's going to hit harder than your alarm on Monday morning. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button so hard it calls for a standing 8 count. And don't forget to subscribe to Heavy Jabs for more deep dives, predictions, and absurd boxing analogies that make more sense than some judges' scorecards. Drop your